somewhere around the end of 1972, early 73, Phantom Regiment moved out of their North 2nd Street location on the 2nd floor downtown out here to Latham Park School on Old River Road. This was for the 73 season, and we were able to take a couple of classrooms, knock down a wall, turn it into a big horn room, and the drum corps was able to use this as their facility through all of 1973. In fact, in 1973, during a baritone sectional rehearsal right out here in the parking lot, we had a surprise visit from Alex Haddad, who showed up out of the blue after probably 10 years of no involvement in the drum corps, and kind of ran our baritone rehearsal for a couple of minutes, just more for fun than for anything. We were here for a year. And then, as it turns out, after we moved to one or two other locations, after we were here in 73, we went out to the school in Argyle, Illinois, which is about 5 or 7 miles north and east of Rockford. But we ended up coming back here in 1980. We were able to buy the building at that point, and we spent most of the 80s here in this building again. So this is a building that has more history with Phantom Regiment than most of the buildings that we're visiting. So Ron, what do you remember about this?
This may have been my favorite hall that I was involved with the Corps. Sure. I was director during some of the time we were here. I had an office, walk in the door there to the left, I had an office there. We could do lots with the building since we owned it. Board meetings were here. The Booster Club meetings were in this building. And rehearsals, and we never slept in this building, but when we left for tours and came back from tours, this is where the drop-off site would be, or the pickup site. And so this building has lots of history. The percussion area of the building is on this side behind John and Tim, and that room wasn't particularly big either, but you know, they probably got the shortest end of the deal with this rehearsal space. But Hornline had a nice space. There's a nice gymnasium in here, and the Guard had that.
Didn't have any showers.
No showers, right?
That's why we couldn't stay here.
Right. Right. We had a fire here as well. It was in the furnace. Somehow we had a lot of paper storage in the furnace area for whatever reason. We were storing documents and things there, and must have been a spark or something. Anyway, caught it on fire, and I was the one who discovered it. I was the one who came here to open the hall up for rehearsal, and I called the fire department, and the flame was out. The fire put itself out at that point, but we had smoke throughout the building, and the uniforms were impacted by some of that smoke, and we got them out of there and got them to dry cleaners or cleaners, and got all the smoke out of it. So
it was an old boiler type furnace.
It was really old.
Really old.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this was a great place. We couldn't rehearse here outside. There was no place to practice, so we probably went to Kennedy for some of that rehearsal just because it was close by.
And we were using Wilson Middle School also at that time.
Right.
Near the end of our stay here, that wall needed some repair work. I believe it had to do with the windows as well. And so the masonry people did their best to put something on the wall that looked that resembled the chevron. And so, yeah.
Yeah, you could see where the newer bricks were and like where the window was and stuff. And so they put that chevron up in between. But it was a great place, and
because I think mainly because this home really felt like ours. This really felt like our home.
I think we were marching back then 120, 128. I'm not exactly sure what the number was, but we had a lot of kids and everything coming in here, so. It was one of the first years, wasn't it, that we had Michael Cesario join us?
Michael did his very first presentation to the board and to the Booster Club in that room over there, and did the unveiling of the white uniform which was only a couple of months after a really heated board meeting that went until beyond midnight, where we discussed the virtues of spending the money for the new uniforms and versus being more conservative with the budget. So there were some financial hardships at the time, but the organization chose to go ahead with the new uniforms and do what we could to break into the contender categories at DCI finals, see if we couldn't contest for the win.
That would have been the all-white uniform in 1986?
88.
88.
87.
87, okay.
Oh, cut.
Cut, yeah. Yeah.